Good morning, Suzanne Joy.
Good morning, Deborah LeeAnn.
It is time for a little tuning in. Um, and I I know that we tend to talk about things in an impersonal, global, universal way, um, because we don't want to get too private and bore you with our stuff that we're going through. But I also want to let whoever is listening know that we've been taking turns on going, should we record today or wait till tomorrow? Should we? Knowing that how we would show up would be, you know, where we talk about integrity and authenticity, and which means we don't want to be hiding. So today, I think we're a mix. So I don't know what you're going to see, feel, hear through our transmission today, but we want you to know we're in the soup with you.
Yes.
Feels like pudding, though.
Mm-hmm.
It seems so dense. Anyway, and that we never mean to make light on all of the. I mean, I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I said, "Oh my God!" And I sound like such a whiner. Like these are such first world problems. There are people, who lost their children in Iran. There are people in Ukraine that are war weary, and I feel like such a horrible person complaining or whining or being open and honest about how I'm feeling in the moment. And then I feel like, and I want to honor my experience. So there's this dance. How are you navigating that? The micro to the macro.
Well, I know that it always comes back to myself, right? As within, so without. So, even though other nations, other places are having that human experience, there's nothing I can do about it except be the best version of myself or be all of me, or it may not be the best version. I don't know. I can only shine what I am. You squeeze an orange, what comes out, It's not apple juice, it's orange juice. So,
Yeah, but we have to have, I feel we have to have compassion because that is a healing bond. So it's not like we're ignoring
no, we're not ignoring it, but
suffering.
but to go down in the hole with it.
True.
This is I think this is the true metal that I've been working with is how can I hold anger, sorrow, joy, all of it. Like how I can love, and what I'm learning is unconditional love, right? Unconditional love doesn't mean that you put up with things. It
No.
means you can hold yourself, that you don't abandon yourself. This I think this is the ticket, you guys. You don't abandon yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Me, I don't abandon myself when it gets tough. It might not agree with somebody else and their human experience, but it doesn't mean that my feeling, my experience is invalid.
No, absolutely not. Or should be diminished.
Exactly.
I feel like we, as women, especially women that are of a certain age, we were raised to always be selfless. Selfless. Think about that. Like not even owning what's going on, our own pain and suffering, because it was all about giving, being there for the other, serving another. And that's what partially our culture is responsible for a lot of the violence against women, for a lot of the diminishing of us as equal human beings to men. And I know I'm getting bigger and broader there, but there is a huge um, and it's coming back around. I know it's the shadowy parts as the consciousness rises, but there are these factions in our culture that believe that women are second. Black people are maybe third, and Jewish people, and all these groups that they make less than. And I think this is what we're healing from. This is what we're part of the collective that is letting that fall away,
Mhm.
without fighting it, because
Right.
then that makes it stronger. So
Exactly.
yeah, so this is a
So it's not a brute force.
yeah,
It
and that
is by encompassing and holding paradoxically more.
yes, and I think that's what I used to describe to the clients I was working with, is that we are expanding our capacity to hold more. In the systems design world, you call it the chaos, right? More of the uncertainty, more of the I know this, but I really don't know that. And I don't even have a clue about what I don't know. I don't know. So I mean, like, how can we hold all of that? And
That's a lot.
it is, especially, and I love that we had that conversation. And then you brought it up again this morning about holding love in a whole new way. It is not all rainbows and unicorns and roses, people.
It's about holding your integrity and about loving yourself unconditionally, that you stay in you and not try to push things forward or manipulate things to something. You allow whatever to be and tune into yourself and go, do I need to pivot? What perspective may I need to shift within me?
Yeah. And can I feel what I'm feeling first
Exactly.
before I try to change it?
Right. Because
And
you
that's
gotta
a
know.
self-honoring. I love that. So it's self-honoring. I wanted to get rid of the self-abandonment, like
Yeah.
the negative.
Self.
So
Yeah.
self-honor. And so I'm thinking, how in the past we would do this and we would be honoring by sending love to others. Can we do it
Hmm.
like this, or can we imagine that they are a mirror and so it's going both ways at the same time without it doesn't mean, and I used to also think that love had a mathematical equation, and there was only so much of me. So if I gave you 100% of my love, what was left for me? Zero. No. If I gave you 100% of my love to you, I also have room for 100% for me and 100% for nature. And, I can still love everything with huge, huge capacity. And
Well,
I think I used to think my capacity was like I only had so much.
and I believe that our this maybe we're expanding our flux capacitors. because
Explain what you mean there. I don't know.
because like, all right, I like to think of, instead of a vessel, I like to think of us more as a conduit.
Yeah.
I like to think of myself as a conduit. And so I'm not necessarily holding more. My capacity to move with all of it is growing.
Yes. And maybe we can handle more energy flowing in and flowing out. So I see what you mean. So I love that because I used to always have this very narrow, oh, I'm allowing the gold to come in this, single pour. No, I wanted to like pour, not pour, but, cover me like a rain shower. So all bits of me gets covered with the divine energy coming in, the light codes. And the same with the energy coming up from Gaia. So and there's another two-way street, isn't there? Flow of energy coming in and through and up and down and through. Um, and that I just found some Buddhist prayers. I love cleaning up and going through old books and finding all my stuff. And I found this thing, that the prayer about the blessings, and it was in all directions. And so it's like, may there be love to the east, to the south, to the north, to the west, above, below. And I just added, and within, because I'm like, I don't want to, I feel like women are working on the embodiment thing. We need to make space for this to come in and come home within us. And we're so good at blessing and sending everything out. And I'm like, and in, and me too. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I feel I even said this probably in another recording. It's like being able to mother myself through the turmoil,
You
and just
always use, what's the word you use? Self-soothing.
self-soothing. And, somebody was pointing out, being spiritual doesn't mean, you don't get to feel all the crud and that you don't work through it. In fact, I believe that those of us that do the deep, deep work, that is the mission, is to be able to,
To feel it all.
mhm, and not,
And
and it doesn't mean that you deregulate yourself.
no,
So this is us learning how to re-regulate and come back into center. It doesn't mean that we don't have turmoil. It means that, okay, awesome. I'm feeling all of it. And then what? And now what? What would we want? What is it telling us? It's informing us. That's the only purpose that emotions have, is that it's informing us of something.
yeah,
And if we identify, if we are an empath, we feel everything and everyone. And then you identify what is yours. And I
yeah,
think that's the big crux with um, being an empath, is that you sit with, okay, because I feel a lot of world stuff, for instance, and then I can feel it and bless it, and then I also want to identify with myself too. Like I'm a human too, and so what's my feelings about my life, not just world events and other people. So I think it's a big learning curve for me to um, be able to be in that space as a sensitive.
yeah. I mean, as we evolve, we're moving into a different consciousness that's interconnected. We can't get away from the pain.
No.
If someone is suffering, if our neighbor next door, and we forget, it's not necessarily around the world. It could be in my family, in my neighborhood, and that holding of the capacity. Um, how do we allow ourselves to be interconnected to it all and still stay on purpose? This is my thing. So if I'm a heart cell and I am needing to do my work with the heart valves to keep them pumping the blood, right? That's my work as a cell. And I'm like over here going, hey, brain cells, what's going on up there? It's not my business to know.
Exactly. That's my point. Yes.
And what do we
Right.
do? We like try to control them. Let me
Right.
tell you how to do that better.
Right.
What you
Right.
need to do? This is what you need to do. No, this is what I need to do. So
Right.
it's like let them
Right.
have their roles and jobs and responsibilities. And anyway, I'm just laughing. So as we and the more we feel the interconnectedness, and you can feel it now when you go outside, you can feel the trees talking to us. You can feel the rain coming down and you can hear like the grass singing. I swear, it's everything's spring is pretty magical anyway. But there's so much going on right now outside that I keep going, okay, this is the same thing. Those raindrops aren't coming down going, hey, tree, let me tell you how to get your leaves ready to come out next month. They're like, just doing my thing, just doing my thing. And I thought, okay, stay in your lane. You're the one that used to say that. Stay in
Yeah.
your
No, it's I've been saying it a lot to myself because I want to go over and peek in my neighbor's over the fence. And it's like, no, no,
Oh, what was that show?
yeah. Yeah, I'm like, no, no, don't do that. That's not useful. So being useful is that we focus our energy on what we're here learning and growing through.
And
And
it doesn't mean that if the brain cell is having problems with the brain, that we don't go, oh, I need to be pumping a little bit more blood to help support that function. It's not, it's like I'm still doing me, but I'm aware. that I also have a role to support this whole organism. And what's the best way to do that?
Right.
So, wow, I didn't know we were going to go there.
Well, that's so funny because it's all about gaining a new perspective. This
Oh,
is the
I
card I pulled
love
today.
that. Thank you.
So
Oh,
it's all about it's soothing your mental flow into new perspectives that offer improvement and releasing fear and worry that block you from seeing your immense potential to begin creating anew.
you know what's so beautiful about these, and we'll add this card to the back of to the end of the video, is if you pause the video when the card is up and the image is up, you can take your finger and I need for me those light codes tend to I can feel them more directly when I trace them with my finger on the on through the what do you call it? The design or the
Mm.
activation happens within me when I play with it that way. Um, the other thing and I don't know if we've exited it or not, but this week we were hanging out in the Gene Key 22, which is the big monster mystery of, not monster, but I mean like it's large and deep of grace. And I looked up the mudra, and I know this won't translate for those of us listening to us audibly, but I'll try to do my best to explain it. Um, so if you take your palms, and I had it with my left palm on the bottom and my right palm resting on top, like a basket. What I do is I interlace my pinky fingers and my index fingers. So I still have two middle fingers on top and two middle fingers on the inside. My thumbs are just at a point, like a little triangle there. And so you can just hold this in your lap. It's kind of like a little basket.
Mm.
And this is deeply divine, feminine, receptive calling in. This is asking for Shakti energy to come through us, to transmute, to heal, to mother. You know, I love the Shakti energy. It's soft and beautiful and feminine and loving and grace. So we need to give ourselves a lot of grace right now. There's a lot going on. Mm.
May grace be with you.
Mm. Till next time, everyone.
Much love.